Let's continue talking about the client portal. Okay, so we were talking about client portal, we talked about the shortcomings of the new comments, the post comments, and we were talking about agent recommended. Now to me, agent recommended sits here dead center, kind of smacks you in the face, but my experience is that clients do not see it. So when you give your clients the walkthrough, and again we're going to talk about that a little more later, I would definitely recommend that you point out the agent recommended, because this is my preferred way of showing a client that, I think this is really a great property that you should take a look at. So once you point it out to them, your clients will get the hang of this really quickly, and they'll understand that, hey, we've got 19 listings, but my agent thinks this is really hot stuff. Okay, so agent recommended is a great tool, and again, of course, you have all the same things: the view details, posts, your pictures, and all that good stuff. Let me just go off on a tangent for a second, and if this is your listing, I apologize. Okay, but photos are not created equal. You can put 99 photos in a listing. It doesn't matter how many photos you put in a listing. The first photo is without a doubt the most important one. It's worth at least 100 of any of the other photos. Okay, and if this is the best photo you can put in for a property, I'd pick a different photo. Okay, I mean, a nice looking ashtray on a table would look better. So the first photo, I can't stress this enough, is really, really important, because that is the photo that is going to be sent out through auto prospecting to the people who are likely to buy your property. Okay, so the first photo, again, can't say it enough, it is really, really important. Okay, so we've talked about the client portal. You'll recall that when we sent out the invitation to the client portal, there was no opportunity to change the email at all. It was a stock email that went out. Well, let's go and take a look at that email. So if we go into my email, you'll see that here it is. Client portal invitation, property information prepared exclusively for Webb Simpson and Tiger Woods. Now, what I would suggest, since there's no way of changing this, is that you use this as a great opportunity to call your clients. So my advice, send this out and then follow up with a phone call, preferably at a time that your clients are in front of the computer, and say, hey Webb, why don't you just click on the view listings here and let me walk you through the client portal. So once they're in the client portal, I would explain all the same things that I explained to you earlier. That for each listing they're going to see, obviously the listing number, the price, all that key information, the address and what have you. They're going to see the primary photo right there in front of them and the marketing remarks right there in front of them. They can go to view details by clicking on view details, the pictures, they can do a slideshow or click through the pictures they want to see. And then of course all the map options. I would take the time to point out to them that the post comments is not the way to do it, so I'd talk to them about the alternatives. You definitely want to point out to them the agent recommended, because I think that is a much more powerful way of highlighting the listings that you want to do. And then lastly, the save and reject. Now sometimes I have clients who are a little fearful of this. They say, well, what if I reject a property and then change my mind? Well, your client is not able to delete any property. So let's say your client changes their mind about this particular property. You'll see that when they come to the rejected tab, they have the ability to click save, and the property immediately goes back into the save tab. So put their mind at ease on that. And really, if you talk to your clients and explain the way the system works, once they're ready to go look at properties, all the properties they want to look at should be in the saved tab. And that means that when you come into your MLS and go to contacts prospects, all of the properties that they want to see will be here in the saved tab. And of course all you have to do then is call up, make appointments and go out and see property. Okay, let's look at a couple of other things about this. Now, we set this client up with two different searches, and if we come down to the bottom of the screen here, you'll see that we have the two different searches. Now notice that the first search is just named with a number name. The second search, we were asked to give it an alternate name, so it's called La Crescenta. Let's say that your client gets tired of looking at properties in South Pasadena. Well, you can absolutely delete the South Pasadena search by coming over here and checking the box. But in my opinion, there's really no upside to that. all you need to do is turn the search off. So you can turn the search off and they won't receive any more emails on that particular property or those properties. And then if they change their mind later, all you have to do is come and turn it on. So, that in my mind is a much more powerful way of doing it. Now, what about when you're no longer working with your clients? Well, again, you have choices. You can absolutely delete the client, but again, there's no upside to that. So my advice, if they decide they're not going to work with you, just make them inactive, and when you click save, you'll see that they're no longer in this list, but all you have to do is go to the inactive tab here, and your client is there. And I have certainly experienced clients who come back later and say, well, we're ready to look at properties again. Rather than reinvent the wheel, all you have to do is come in here and turn them back on, put them back into active. So again, you can delete things, but I'm not entirely sure that I'd recommend that. We talked about the different groups. You can have as many different groups as you want, and it's very easy to move clients between groups as well. Okay, so the client portal, in my mind, is very likely the most powerful tool that we have available to us in the MLS. If there's only one thing that you focus on learning, I would say that this is what it should be. Now, I told you that with your clients, you should never use the auto prospect on its own. You should use the client portal with the auto prospecting, and that will give you this C/A here in the icon. That means that you have client portal with auto prospecting. But there is a use for auto prospecting, and that is to create basically a automated hot sheet. So you can see I've got a group here called hot sheets, and I have a hot sheet here for 9/11/06. So let me show you how to do that. What we're going to do, we're going to go to searches, standard, and let's say that we want to do a hot sheet for South Pasadena, and we only want to do single family homes. We don't want any condos. So residential, single family, again, we go to the zip code, we put in 91030, and this time we're going to come down and we're going to select all of the statuses with the exception of leased. We basically want to know whenever anything happens in South Pasadena. That's the only criteria we're going to put in. We're going to open the options pane. We're going to go to save as a new prospect. Now, of course, there is no prospect. This is a hot sheet that you are going to use. So we're going to call it 91030 hot sheet. And when we click save, we're going to be taken to the contact information. Now, again, I would change the display so that it displays as 91030 hot sheet. You can change the groups if you want. So if you click on groups here, you can put this straight into hot sheets instead of into prospects. And we're not going to put in any contact information. This is for us. The system already knows our contact information. So we come down to auto prospecting, we select auto prospecting, and all we say is email to agent yes. It's not going out to our clients, this is going to us. Okay, so we click save, and it will tell us that we have 106 results. You do need to do this last step. You need to go to view, and that's not going to send an email to you with 106 listings, but it's going to trigger the start of it. And from now on, any time a property comes on the market in 91030 or goes into escrow or falls out of escrow or is cancelled, etc., you will receive an email, and that is truly a way to be Johnny on the spot, if you like, for South Pasadena or whatever area you choose. Again, you can set this up using a map search, so you could do a radius around your client's listing. There are 1,000 different ways of using this, but here we're going to use auto prospecting just for us. Remember, with your clients, always use the client portal because it is a much more professional tool. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, and come back and listen to this again, because the client portal really is quite possibly the most important tool we have in our toolbox. Thank you.